Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at the emotion-driven and partner-matching game called Feelinks. In this simple party-like game, the players are going to be all presented with a scenario, and then you decide which of the displayed emotions would be most appropriate for you. Which one is triggered within you. You'll pick that card face down, you won't reveal it, and then you are assigned a partner, and you are trying to figure out which one you think they picked. They'll do the same thing to you. You're going to score some points if you match. That's it. And then the emotions might change throughout the game. It's a very simple game. It's an interesting, different kind of game that I'm going to give you a look at now. Then we'll come on back after that, and I'll tell you if this sort of experimental experience is interesting and if it's worth it to add to perhaps your collection. Here we go. To set up the game, we are going to give each player one of these sets of cards with the numbers 1 through 8, as well as one special card with that symbol there. We're going to put each player's token here in the center of the board, and then we will shuffle up these different piles of cards here and play some out. These are the emotions, and they're tied. The symbol on the back is tied to a few different locations on the board here, around the board. And so they will be randomly paired with a number. So for example, wonder is number 8, and then contempt over here being number 6, and so on. Once that's done, based on the number of players, we're going to pick some of these partner cards. In this case, I'll be replicating a game with 4 players. So we need 2 pairs of cards that simply match. And we'll set those aside for 1 second. And then we are going to pick one of the 3 different decks of cards that you can use as the prompts for the game, the questions for the game. And the idea is that they are, so this green one here would be if you're playing with family members. You've got the blue one here if you're playing at school, with kids, that sort of thing. And then the orange one is just between friends. So you can pick which one you want to play with. For now, I'll go ahead and grab the green one here for families. Shuffle that up. You can set the other 2 aside, and you are ready to begin. So the way the game works is you are going to be going around being the emotion master. I forget exactly what they call it. Basically, the leader of the round. You grab one of these cards, you read one of the 3 prompts, and then everyone is going to pick the card that they triggers the emotion from having heard that. You know, how they would feel about said prompt. So let's go ahead and do one, all right? So for example, let's see here. So here's the middle one here. It says, your brother ate all the strawberries in the garden, and now he has a sore stomach. So he's got a stomach ache, and because he ate all the strawberries in the garden. And then everyone is going to pick one of these cards simultaneously and select them face down in front of them. So we've got interest, confidence, disappointment, irritation, disgust, contempt, embarrassment, and wonder. And I will go ahead and pick one. I'm going to pick this one, let's say. And I'll put that face down in front of me. And every other player is going to do the same thing. And I'm actually going to pick randomly for them because I think it'll be a little funnier. So, there we go. Everybody's got one choice that they made. And now that this is done, then we are going to grab these partner cards, shuffle them up, and give them out to the 4 players, and they'll reveal them as soon as they get them. This simply creates 2 pairs of players randomly. Now, this would be 3 of one kind and 2 of another if you're playing with 5 players. So it does change depending on the number of players. So we're going to give this one here to the orange player. This one goes over here to the blue player. And then pink and yellow. And so I know my partner is the blue player over there if I'm playing yellow. And the second part is I then pick the card that I think they played. And I'm going to say, in my head, I wouldn't say this out loud, of course, that they are confident because they probably showed the little brother how to eat all these strawberries anyway. So I'm gonna pick that one there, and everybody else would do the same thing. So you know, blue would pick one for me, and so on. And then we reveal our own. So So I picked that. What did blue pick? I'm curious. 4, which was irritation. Oh, all the strawberries are gone. And then we reveal the one we picked for them. So I flip a 2, and I say, oh, I thought you were going to pick, confidence. I was wrong. And then they flip one, and they picked 1. They thought I was going to pick interest. Since we matched nothing at all, I did not match their pick. They did not match my pick, as in, predict what it would be. Then we don't move forward on the score track at all. Let's say, however, that blue figured I would find this disappointing because I figured my brother would know better. Then they picked 3 for me. Indeed, that was right. I did say 3. Then we've matched on 1. So they matched with me, but I did not match with them. And we both move 1 space forward on this track. If I had also matched with them, and I picked 4 for them, then instead of a single space, we both move 3. And obviously these pairings will break up and people will move at different rates because the teams are randomized every round. All right? That's basically it. If I thought that they picked the same card I already played, by the way, seeing as to how I don't have this number in my hand anymore, then you play this special card here to denote, hey, I think the one you played is actually also the one I played. That's what this one means. Once you've done that, then everybody picks up their player cards here. What did this player say? 6. Contempt. Oh boy, that's a little harsh. So everybody picks up their cards. We gather these back up, the partner cards, put them aside for a second, and then whoever is leading the round is allowed to switch out one of these emotions. So let's say I want to get rid of wonder over here. So I would go to the matching deck, which is this one, has that symbol on the back. I'll get rid of this one, and I'll flip a new card into its spot, being joy. And then the next player becomes the new leader of the round. They flip over a new card, and they are going to read one of these. So, for example, your cousin puts detergent in the jacuzzi, foam covers the room. Or, your father is awarded best father by his co-workers. Not sure why they would know anything about that, but okay. And then I guess that would let me know. I'm like, what? Let's see here. During a family evening, your grandma proposes you dance with her. Okay, very nice, very sweet. That gets joy, I'm pretty sure. So that's the idea. That's how you play the whole thing. You keep doing that until a predetermined amount of rounds. You can go around the table once or twice, or if you want to play out until the track is over, then you can do that as well, and you'll simply keep going until someone gets to the last spot there, and then that player is the winner of the game. Though I suspect the designers intend for everyone to feel like they've won this game. It's that kind of concept. It has that kind of energy to it. That's the ultimate goal here, to get everyone talking and sort of discussing these topics and questions that come up. So that should give you an idea of how the game works. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, so that's it. Let's talk about this. Thematic ties. Let's start off there. The game has, the theme is not like most other games. This is a game that knows it's about something different. It sort of has an educational vibe to it in many ways, and the game acknowledges that. But it's also kind of a party game, and they even give you those 3 decks of cards to allow you to play with, in, say, a school setting perhaps, with family, with friends. You can mix and match those. You can do it however you want to. But I like the idea, which is kind of what I'm tying to the theme here. So that gets a thumbs up from me. The production quality and the aesthetics, I think, are very nice. They give you, everything has an interesting look, and it's certainly an acquired look, taste. And once again, I've said this before, but I think my aesthetics category is certainly the one I leave most up to, each individual viewer, because if you don't like the look, then you just don't. There's no explaining that away. I like the look. I think it's quirky, but it's charming also. It's different. It's all congruent for one thing. I like that very much. And it works for me. It's interesting. And they even give you on the board, you have two sides. You can go for the sort of sillier but more colorful one here, or you can just go straight up for a number track on the other side. I like this side better. It just looks more charming and clever and interesting. So I like that, and I think the materials from which everything is made are nice and high quality. The replayability is pretty good. There's quite a bit of content, so these are all the cards you are getting in the game, and each one has 3 prompts in it. You can also, you're going to have the partner, so that's going to change from round to round, in fact, but also game to game. And playing with new people adds a new dynamic to the game that you were not counting on before, right? So playing with just friends is going to feel a little bit different than playing with folks you just met. I like that. I like that the game evolves based on not just the deck you're using, but the people you're sitting with. And that's interesting to me. The game length is fine. It's, for one thing, very adjustable. You can just play once around the table, everybody sort of being the leader of the round, or you can play to the end of the track, and you can figure out what you're happy with, you know. And they do say if you play with fewer players, you can play twice around the table for a more satisfactory feel. So that's good. The game does not outstay its welcome. Ease of play is high. It works well. I like that the emotions can be changed from round to round, but they don't change all the time, meaning you have to not teach them, but you have to make sure everyone's aware of which ones are out there all the time. The change is there, but it's slow. And so as you remove one emotion that you want gone and you flip over a new one, you just have to let everyone know that's a new one available. The rest are the same that you've been playing with. So I like that pace as well of turnover, you know. It works well. It's easy to teach, easy to play. And then lastly, tactics and strategy, luck, things like that. This is kind of hard to gauge because the game is very different from many other games. Yes, it's a party game. And in fact, one of my favorite party games is a game called Compatibility that kind of deals with similar subjects. And by that I mean it's this game where you have a partner, you're giving a topic, and you are trying to have your thing match their thing, right? Or, I mean, you're not trying to do that, but you're hoping it happens. That's how I play anyway, Compatibility. And it's a lovely game. And this one gives me a similar feeling. This idea of, how do I react to this? But not just that, because that's simply reactionary, right? It's, how do I know what this person would pick? And then it changes from round to round. Whereas in Compatibility, you always have the same partner. I like that too. I like that quite a bit. That it's going to move around the table whose head you're trying to get in, you know, figure out what they would have said, how they would have responded. And it works well, you know. Yeah, it takes a little, it's not as straightforward, perhaps. Some of the situations, you look at the emotions and you're thinking, well, I guess it depends on a lot of different things. None of these are quite speaking to me right now, or I'm having a hard time making the transition from that situation to feeling one of these emotions, you know. But for the most part, it is a smooth game, and that translates well. So I like I'm not going to call it again tactics or strategy, but I like the feel, you know, the turn-to-turn investment in the game. To me, is interesting and stays high. So this is cool. I enjoy it. It's perhaps, like I said, sort of an acquired taste. It's got that sort of educational vibe to it that some folks are simply not going to be interested in. It's kind of hard to call this a game, really. I mean, yeah, there's rules and there's scoring and you can win, but it's more of an experience. It's more about sitting around, flipping over your cards, explaining why you picked that, making fun of the scenarios, having a good laugh, and just enjoying the company of some people, you know? So for that, I like it very much, and I like the look of it myself. This one's going to get, from me, a seal of approval. I think if you are looking for something that's a little off the beaten path, something that you can play with several different groups and is going to adjust, and just something with interesting scenarios that you can then discuss or talk about, this is a good one. That's Feelinks. Again, seal of approval from me. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.